Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to do a quick piece of art that's fast, easy, doesn't require any special supplies. You can use whatever you have, and it doesn't require any experience. So it's a great piece of art. It's very meditative. It can be done by kids. I taught my grandson how to do this and he loves it. But basically you draw lines called neurolines, and you start from one edge and go all the way to the other and draw as many lines as you want to. In this one I incorporated circles, and you can do any kind of shapes in the ones you want or just leave it plain. Then once you do that, you round off the corners because there should be no sharp edges and no lines stopping in the middle of the page. And then you can color it in whatever you want. This one is done in colored pencil. You see, you can make any kind of design. This one I think is done in markers. And in the lines, there's a little, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there are little dots just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. The same way with this one. I think this is done with markers too, if I remember. I've done so many that I forget what I've done. I tend to use the smaller book. This is just a mixed media pad. You can use watercolor paper or any kind of paper that you have. If you have nothing in the way of art supplies, you can even just grab a piece of printer paper and some Sharpies like I have here and go for it. I'll show you some examples of what I have done. This one was also colored pencil, and then we'll get to doing one ourselves. This one is just plain black and white. It's done with a Sharpie and a black pen and then shaded in with some graphite. This is actually watercolor, I think. And again, I don't think you can see it on the camera, but it has little circles that I did with a glitter pen. This one has it all filled in with dots and kind of makes it look like a birthday one. This is done with black marker and yellow and orange. So you can like pick a color palette, or you can just do whatever you want. Colored pencil again. I tend to do a lot of colored pencil, but you can use watercolor, you can use ink, so you can use anything you want. So let's get started, and we'll do one really quickly so I can demonstrate. One thing I do, and I recommend, is if you're working in a book like this and you're using markers or even any kind of paint, it tends to go through to the next page. So to save your page, put something underneath. This is just a cheap dollar store cutting mat that I have used. I also made a I made this, it's a piece of scrap paper that I laminated. It's a bit smaller than a cutting mat, although you can, I think, cut these down to size, whatever size you want. And but I find this one easier. The only thing is it sometimes slips a little, but you can use anything you want. Now you can start off by making your lines with graphite if you want to, with a number 2 pencil, and then trace over them with the Sharpie. But to save time today, I'm just going to do the Sharpie. So you start from wherever you want, whichever side you want, and kind of curve the line and go down to the other side. And then you continue making as many lines as you want, always coming off the page. And mine are a little shaky because I shake, but I'm sure yours will be much smoother than mine. Any direction. You can see there's this paper is perforated, so you can tear it. So when I go off the edge, I'll eventually tear this page out and you won't see what's off the edge. If you have like printer paper or anything like that, you can draw actually a big square box and stay within that limits if it's easier for you. Let's do, I'm not going to do a lot because, as I said, in the interests of time, I just want to show you how to do it. So there we go. That's enough lines to start with. So the next thing you do is wherever these lines meet and form this little triangle, you round them off. So hard to do when you're shaky, but the whole point is not to have any sharp edges. So we make nice little rounded corners that I'm sure yours will be much tidier than mine. As I said, being shaky is hard. But the thing with it is there's no right or wrong, there's no rules. It's your piece of art. You do it whatever way you want. It's a great thing if you're traveling, like I am in the next few days going to be traveling in a car for a very long time. And this is a great thing to just, if you're not the driver, of course, you sit there and doodle, grab a bunch of markers or colored pencils or whatever is easiest for you and spend the time creating something nice and colorful. And you can use whatever design you want. Inside you can fill it with squares. You can actually write affirmations in these little spaces and color over them, or color first and write them after. There's a lot you can do with it. So I'm going to continue on making these edges rounder, and I'll speed up the video. Then we'll come back and I'll show you how I color it in. The thing is, too, there are many different ways of doing this. There are lots of YouTube artists who do this kind of thing, and you certainly can look at them for inspiration. I'm just doing the basics right now. Okay, we've got our lines all done and our corners all done. So now we can go ahead and color. And it's just basic coloring. And you can be as creative as you want. Sharpies, of course, are not archival, but I won't be keeping this piece for years and years. So I don't really mind. This is just an activity in creativity. And it's very meditative. And you can, I actually have a blog post written about this, and it has a free download for affirmations, color palettes, and ideas you can think about while you're doing it. You know, working through a problem, or trying to work through a feeling as you're drawing and coloring. You can use the same color throughout if that's all you have, or you can continue and add more color as you go. When I come back from my trip, I'm going to try this with some acrylic inks that I have. I think it might be pretty. But for now, we're just going to use our Sharpies. I'm going to continue on coloring this. We'll come back when I'm done and I'll explain what to do next. Okay, so I have this all colored in. It's kind of messy because Sharpies are not the best for doing this, but I just wanted to show you how you could do it with very little art supplies. Basically, you could even actually just do it with pencil if that's all you have. Pencil and some printer paper. Just make your lines a little darker and shade them in lightly with your pencil. You can stop right here, or you can keep going and add embellishments. So with this one, I'd kind of like to make the lines a little thicker, like this. I'll just make a few lines thicker, and I shake so that my lines are not perfect. You can, of course, make this as elaborate as you want to make it look like a beautiful piece of art, or just use it to kind of relax and just let happen what happens. So I've made these lines a little thicker. You can keep going if you want. And now what I'm going to do is add a little, this is a glitter pen, a Jelly Roll glitter pen, and just add a few little lines or a few little dots here and there, just to fancy it up. You can use basically anything for this. A white pen, a white marker, a white paint marker. Alcohol markers work really well with this. You have good alcohol markers that you can blend and make gradients. So as you can see, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I just wanted to show you what you can do. Maybe, I don't know if you can see that. You can also, like I said, write words into the bubbles, or you can put little dots of glitter in the bubbles, or you can even use a marker of a contrasting color. So in the light ones, it would be harder to see in the darker ones. But for my blue, I can add maybe orange dots, because that's the contrast to blue. But these come out really dark on the blue. But you could still make a pretty good design. The yellow would be good with maybe a red on the yellow. Or no, maybe a purple. We'll try a purple on the yellow. Again, they're dark. Or you can make multiple colors. Red shows up better, excuse me, on the yellow. You can make bigger circles. You can make lines that go across the circles. You can do anything you want, because that's the whole point of it. Just start doodling. Start drawing the lines. Let it flow your own way. And it's really is a great, easy, cheap, mindful piece of artwork. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want an actual written piece about this type of art and the free download I mentioned earlier, I'll leave a link to my blog post below. And thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.